What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having, a amazing heavyweight that participated in the first boxing or combat sports anything that happened in the state of Alabama post COVID. He is a heavyweight with a first round knockout. He is the one and only Alan Melson. Alan,
Hello,
how you doing, my
hello.
man?
Good. How about you?
Great to have you, man. Look at you. You look like $1 million. Literally glowing from ear to ear and what have you, you took your rightful place in history and Alabama sports history, to kind of, at Rumble in Rainsville to compete in that first event back, since March, and then to get a crazy knockout, first round knockout.
Yep. Yes, sir. It felt wonderful. Honestly, it really felt wonderful. Plus, I was back in my home state at that. So to have my first knockout in my home state, it brought a lot of joy to my city. It brought a lot of joy to my family. One, and it's like I said, it's plenty more to come too after that. So
That had to be good, man. Like traveling back to the homestead, as a literal conquering hero. That's amazing. And, obviously, I am in California, and like things have closed. The only thing really of note that has happened in terms of combat sports post COVID in our state is, Top Rank. They ran um, like a native casino here, right? So, like, what was the scene like? In terms of because everybody's trying to figure out a way to kind of, proceed, right? Like, with what us as a fight community is supposed to do. So, what was the scene like? You're traveling from Texas to Alabama. Did you go, earlier? Like, what was the deal?
yeah, we had to take the COVID test. All fighters had to take the COVID test. Um, couple of us left because it was six fighters that fought on our card. Well, it was six of fighters out of my gym were fought on the card, and we all won. We had three knockouts, and the rest of them went to the judge, and we all won. So we went 6-0 that night. So that was an amazing feeling for everybody to go 6-0. But I left Wednesday, got there Thursday. Two other fighters they left Thursday and got there Thursday night. So, but as far as where we was living, it was the regular living whatever hotel you choose to live in. But when it came to weigh in, we had to have the mask on. We had to do the COVID testing. All that was kind of the COVID testing. Like a lot of people, I was in my mind, I was thinking, okay, since everybody's from different states and we 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 haven't been here for a while, I was thinking that at least one or two people will test positive, and out of 18 bouts, and out of those 9 people, nobody came back positive. Everybody came back negative. So I was kind of surprised on that. I think we all were surprised on that. But far as the atmosphere, it felt regular. It wasn't nothing different. It was just, we're in COVID-19, we're in a pandemic, and we have to wear our masks here and there. But other than that, it was pretty fun.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, you pointed out to it, obviously, nobody tested positive. In iterations of the UFC, it seemed like every other card, even like the one last week, the co-main event, essentially got scrapped because one of the fighters, Ovin St. Peru, he tested positive, right? So, we had like either, and it's not just like the fighters themselves, right? We've got like at least one to two coaches, right? Trainers, corner people, cut cut people, and whatever, and then the referee. So like, there's a lot of moving parts to to have happen for this fight to go on, which I think is a testament to the folks who put on Rumble and Angel.
Yeah, and to back off on what I was talking about, with the rest of the fighters that was on the card. Like I said, we had 6 fighters on the card, and we had a pro debut, and he did good. He went the distance, won. Then we had me with the first round knockout, which was the best knockout of the night. Then we had a guy named Chris McCoy, and he knocked his guy out in the second round, no, third round with a body shot. Then we had our guy Noe, who knocked the guy out in the first round. Then we had D'Angelo Key, he went the distance and won. And we had De La Rosa, James De La Rosa, which you probably heard of him before. He went the distance and won. So right now I coach I coach when he go to Alabama. Right now he's undefeated, and plan to keep it that way.
It's not a bad run to have. All 6 of the fighters, that you have at your gym, essentially, winning, and then more than a few win decisively. That's got to be cool. So I mean, shout out your coach right now, like real quick.
Big shout out to Coach Renee. He might not be watching, but big shout out because the thing about it, Monday was his birthday too, so that was a big birthday gift for him too. So I'm pretty sure he was happy.
Yeah, I mean that beats a slice of cake and a shot of whiskey any day. But I mean that was probably after the fight, So
Yeah.
now, in terms of the testing, like was it like the nose testing,
Yeah.
the
We
swabs,
had,
like what was
we had to do the nose, and it was. I took it like a man, but at the end, after he did both nostrils, it hurt. It hurt. I seen a couple people kind of tense up when he went in. He didn't go deep, but I know one person he went almost deep into her nose, and she tensed up. So it didn't hurt, but I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, woo, that's. I mean, already, showing up to weigh-ins and trying to make weight. That's a journey in itself. That's a fight in itself. Let alone, somebody literally like, giving you a nose swab. Like, is this gonna touch my brain? Like, what are we doing? Like whatever. So I mean, more power to you. And Jesse Velasquez is saying, it's always great when the whole team wins together. It makes the victories that much sweeter and builds momentum for the rest of the team and the boys. So shout out to
Thank you,
Jesse
Jesse. Thank you,
Velasquez. Right?
Jesse.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
Yeah, big time.
Now, in terms of like, obviously, you were minutes away from your hometown, right? You had your family there. Well, first off, I mean, in terms of like fans, right? So, in terms of the fans, what was the atmosphere like? Was it like pistons? Like, well, I mean, what was the precautions that you guys were told in the dressing room and what have you for how to proceed?
Far as dressing room goes, we only could have 8 people in the dress because we had 18 fights. It was a big card, a big card. So I think the first six fights, no, the first 10 fights was their first in the locker room, and we only could have 2 coaches in there. And far as fans go, they kind of separated, not really, but my far as my fans, I had a few fans there, but majority everybody watched it on the pay-per-view stream. So that's why I got a lot of congratulations when I went back to my city. Everybody was like, "Man, I heard." I was like, "Yeah, I had to take them out." But like I told the people last night in the interview, I was like, "Man, even when I took them out, I got to my corner after I celebrated. I got to my corner and I prayed that he was gonna be okay because we all want to make it home. This is a brutal sport, and if your mind is not into it at that time, you could die in that ring. We have seen that happen. So I prayed. I prayed for him and I asked God to please make sure that he comes out correctly because I was told that it took him about an hour to wake him up. So yeah, that's when I was told that I was like, man, that I still gotta celebrate though. But hey, I hope he come out okay, and which he did. Um, but it was very interesting. It was very and what clicked in my mind was same thing from my last fight back in February. The coach, his corner, said the same thing that the corner said in February of the other opponent. He's scared. I wasn't scared. I was baiting you in. And when he was coming forward, his chin was open. Everything was open. So I seen it and I connected. So when I heard he's scared, that's when I was like, oh no, don't think I'm scared. I'm just trying to bait him in so I can knock him out. And I got exactly what I said I was going to do. I knocked him out and got the knockout of the night. It was beautiful. To me, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, like you said, it could have played out the other way, and everybody's just trying to, bring a little bit of, like prestige back home when you get home to, rectify all of the sacrifices that were made, the connections that were lost, and whatever, and you just like hope for the best, So it's great, and shout out to your opponent because I mean, any man or woman that stepped in between those ropes into a cage or whatever, I mean that's ultimate respect. You are doing something that literally 99.9% of the world won't do, but that so that's kudos to you guys.
Yeah, and another thing, it was I don't know, I, I was lost to words. That's all I can say. I was lost to words when I knocked him out. It looked like when I look at the pictures, I was like, when I came home, my son was like, "You hit him in the face and you knocked him out. You froze him up," and he he imitated what happened, and it brought joy to my heart that I'm being a role model for my kids, and it brought joy to my heart when I went back to my city and I kind of felt like a hero a little bit because everybody was congratulating me. And like I told him, I was like, I'm gonna stay humble. No matter what, I'm gonna stay humble. I love that I knocked him out. I love that I got the win, but I have a long road ahead of me before I get to a title fight. So I have to stay humble and I have to stay prepared because, like I told you earlier, I felt like within that first minute of that fight, I didn't fight like I was supposed to fight. Like the way when we started, I was too tensed up a little bit, and with that last couple minutes, that's when I started relaxing, and that's when the KO happened. So
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, take us through, right? So, I mean, this is. I mean, February, right? Your last fight. It seems like forever ago, especially in the last like couple months. Like the world has kind of been under, just a lot of craziness and what have you. So, I mean, what was it like to kind of have the thrill of the crowd, like the walk to the ring, like I'm doing this again. This is what I'm, kind of born to bred and work hard to do. Like, take us through that. Take us through the fight.
well, after we came back in February, um, I started working for Title Boxing Club in Katy, and when I started working for them, I was still in shape. I was at 200 even, and I kept working out, and then they closed everything down. And when they closed everything down in March, we were still training people, but it was a virtual training. And as that started getting closer to opening up, that's when I started my own business. And when I started my own business, I ended up gaining weight. So I went from 200 to 230. So I was like, man, ah, this, I was like, this gonna be hard. And I still remember that I had a fight coming up, but I gained them 30 pounds. But whenever I gain weight, I lose it back. I lose it fast, real fast. So when they confirmed that we was gonna fight in August, that's when I started actually getting prepared to really fight. And my first sparring was the 4th of July, the weekend of the 4th of July. That didn't go so well. And to make everybody laugh, when I was in the ring, and this never happened to me ever. When I was in the ring, I was sparring the guy, and he caught me with a straight right. And he ended up messing up both of my teeth, and then they was loosened. So I was like, oh no. I said, no, I can't. That right there is letting me know that I'm not in shape. And I'm not gonna take that. So what I did, I was like, I have to get some type of strength and conditioning coach because I work night shift. And since I work night shift, this past count was very hard. Because I go in at 3 and get off at 2 a.m. And I usually get home around 3 o'clock in the morning. Then have to wake up at 9 or something like that to go train, come back, help take care of the kids, then go to work. So this count was very, very difficult and it was very stressful. But I overcame it within. And when as I kept going, it was just more like, okay, I have to get my mind right. And the only thing what kept coming to my mind was me getting punched in the mouth and my tooth being loose. I was like, yeah, it's not gonna happen again. That's how I'm gonna make sure it's not gonna happen again. So I kept training, and I was trying to watch my weight because I was trying to drop down. And we were supposed to come in at 225, and the guy he didn't come in at 225 because he said he was coming down from 280. So I'm like, okay. If you knew that you had to come down to 225, you should have been pushing yourself to come down to 225. So, like the day before, he was like, man, he asked the promoter, he said, can I come in at 235? I said, she asked me, and I said, why not? He can come in at 235. It wouldn't hurt. But the day of the weigh-in, he came in at 244.8. So I'm like, okay, I gave you leeway at first.
Yeah.
And you still came over that leeway. So I said, no, I didn't like that. And everybody was looking at me, and I was like, I didn't travel for nothing. We still got to fight. I said, it's no need to not fight because you come overweight. We're in heavyweight. And it is what it is. If you come overweight, then I have to take that. I have to adjust to your weight. I have to adjust to fighting you. So that was one part of it. And plus, it was his pro debut, so I didn't have no type of film to study on him or anything. So I went in blinded. But
wow.
With the faith that I had in God and believing that I could actually knock him out, it actually happened. But with this whole pandemic, it was very tough, honestly. Because in June, my wife was pregnant, and we had our last baby in June. So it was so much going on from the pandemic to having a baby in June to trying to get ready for the fight. So it was very difficult, but we overcame it, and it came out just the way that I planned it to come out.
It is what it is. That's the saying right now. And I mean, the sacrifices that you made, in your fight prep and all of that, it's a real testament to the knockout that ended up happening. All of this crazy stuff happening in your life, like juggling work, your family life, all this stuff, him coming over, going in blind. I mean, it all made that victory so much sweeter, and to it. John Inchi says, good job, bro. Awesome fight,
Yeah,
And
that's
Jesse, yes. And then Jesse says, how does it feel to knock someone out like that? And how does it feel to put them down?
John, big shout out to John. He fought on the card too. He did pretty great. He did pretty great too. And I want to give him a shout out. That's the guy I fought came out of his count, and I want to give a shout out to all of them because they actually came in to fight. But how does it feel to actually knock somebody down? That was my actually first knockdown in the ring. I have knocked people out outside of the ring back in the past, but inside the ring, around a whole bunch of around the crowd and everything, it felt amazing at that point. But like I said, when he went down and I didn't see him move, and everybody hurt and got in the ring, and I seen the stretcher come in the ring, that was a totally different feeling. Because like I said earlier, for me, when I get ready to fight, when I'm in the locker room, I'm praying to God that I win the fight and I have more power, more knowledge, and more speed than the other guy. But outside of that, I pray that we both fight good and we both come out the same way we came in, and nobody gets hurt very bad. So when I knocked him down, I felt great because that's my plan. I know that my right is very strong. I know my left is too, but I know when I that was my first time actually using my right in a fight. I don't really use my right. I just use my left. So when I connected with my right, I knew that he was out. And when I seen that he was out, I was trying to make sure that he wasn't going to get back up. But I don't mean for good. I was trying to make sure he wasn't going to get back up and try to fight again.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make sure that it wasn't in the referee's hand because my last fight in February, the referee that I had in February, I had a first round knockout, but as they told us, they said in Alabama there's no standing 8 counts. So I said, okay, great, no standing 8 counts. The only way you can give up is taking a knee. So my first round in February, I almost knocked the guy out. Like I had him on the ropes. He was dazed, and the referee jumped in between and did a standing 8 count. So I felt like I got cheated that fight. And the crazy part was that same referee was my referee for this last fight. So I told my coach that I said, hey, I'm gonna have to knock him out because I don't want the referee to have nothing to do with it. So that was the plan when I got in there, was to actually knock him out if I had the referee, and I had the referee. And once I knocked him out and the referee was raising my hand, I told the referee, I said, hey, you cheated me in my last fight, but this fight I had to knock him out so you can have no say in it. And we laughed about it, but like I said, it felt great. It really felt great. Plus I was at home. Being at home made it feel so much better because right now I'm on the upcoming to better my record. I'm 2-3 with 1 KO. So right now I'm on the upcoming to better my record. And as I better my record, I'm grabbing more fans. That means that more people going to watch me. And they're going to watch and see how successful I was and how successful I am compared to, he was 0-2, 0-3 at the beginning of his record. And like I tell a lot of people, hey, because I'm 0-3 doesn't mean anything at all. Because I do know how to fight. And I have the fundamentals, but I'm still sharpening my fundamentals. So like I said before the fight, I had something to prove. And I still have something to prove. And I'm keep proving it. So that's really how I felt about the knockout. It was wonderful, but I really didn't like.
Okay.
I didn't over exaggerate. It's a lot of people when they knock somebody out, they be so hyped. But I've been playing sports for too long, so whenever I feel like I didn't perform like I needed to, I still win or I still do good, I don't show the happiness because I know that I still have a lot of work I have to do.
and that's what separates, like good from great. That's, when you talk about anything, whether it be business, whether it be life, whether it be, sport, whatever endeavor that you choose to do, or anyone chooses to do, those little things, like, yes, I won, but I still got to go back to the drawing board. I often feel like, you learn, as a fighter more from a loss than you do from a win, because, mo- it's so easy to kind of get caught up like, oh, I won, so I don't have to do F B, A B C D X Y Z, right? But you even in a win, kind of having that mindset like, hey, I should have done this, I whatever, cut the angle this way, blah blah blah. So it just improves, your knowledge and your fight IQ.
Yeah, because and that's why I told one of my friends back home. I was like, man, and I told my wife too. I said, I'm happy I knocked him out, and I'm happy I won, but I need the negative. Where's the negative? I said, I know we went 2 minutes, so I know I did something wrong in there. So I need to know where did I do wrong, but which I already knew that I started off bad. So, but one of my sponsors is Christine in the Ring, and she's a US coach for the US boxing. And she messaged me and she told me, she was like, I hope you can take criticism. I said, yeah, I can take criticism. I said, come on, tell me what you have to tell me, because you're a coach. And that's what I look for. I had even my two old coaches. I sent them the little video that I had of some of it, and they told me the negative of it, which I told them before I sent them. I said, hey, I feel like I did bad, and I did. Far as that minute, like I told you, that minute, it was a whole bunch of hugging and all that, like we was trying to dance or something. So if we was on the top rank card, they probably would have made fun of us until the knockout happened. And because that's a professional, that's like Tim Bradley and Andre Ward. Those are professionals that have been there and done that. And if you have them actually watching the card and they looking at you and they like, why are they hugging? All this hugging. What is the hugging doing? That right there is letting you know that, hey, you still have a lot of work that you have to improve on. And that's what I was looking for, was actually somebody to tell me, hey, you did great with the knockout, but you messed up right here. And I had a couple people tell me that. And that's what I look for that all the time. Every fight.
I love it. I love it. And again, it separates the men from the boys, the girls from the women, and the good from the great. So I love it. And Jesse, who's a MMA champion in his own right, he says, and for sure, it's a brutal sport. If you're not 100% in, you shouldn't do it. Respect to everybody who steps in the cage, though, win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
And that's the absolute truth, because you're still a fighter. Your record, may matter in terms of getting matches and everything like that. But I mean, you're a fighter. If you win, lose, or go to a decision or whatever, doesn't mean you're any less of a fighter.
Yep. Because a lot of people are scared to jump in that ring. A lot of people. It really takes courage for a woman or a man to jump in that ring, because this, like you said, this sport is very brutal, and you can lose your life in there. All it takes is one hit, one hit, and you can lose your life, or you can become paralyzed. So boxing is not a game. It's not a game to play with, and when it comes to preparing yourself, you have to be 100% in it. You can't be 98% in it. You can't be 95% in it, because that 95 and that 98 is not going to get you that win all the time. So if you boxing, you have to actually set aside a lot of things and focus on boxing. And that's the hard part about me, and I know it's a hard part about a lot of people that have kids and a family, that you have to put your family aside to actually focus on that sport. Like right now, I'm taking 2 weeks off because I messed up my thumb. Plus, I'm taking 2 weeks off so I can spend time with my family. But I still have to work night shift, so it's kind of hard, but easy at the same time. But I get to chill and relax and give them the time that they want. And I always tell them, I say, when it's camp time, then you'll see me, you won't see me, and it makes it hard. But at the end of the day, that sacrifice, it brings joy. Sometimes brings tears. It's all about where your mind is.
100%, and there was a lot of minds, a lot of people that, went into your victory. You kind of alluded to, your coaches and, your family and everything like that. And to have, some of your family there being minutes away from your hometown, that was amazing. So, take as long as you like. Shout as many people who have supported you, the Shenzi Eagle, on your path to victory.
Okay, so yeah, I always want to give a shout out to all my sponsors, from Mr. David Asp to In the Ring with Christine to Matt Wandersey, which he was one of my middle school football coaches, and he chose to join the team and be one of my sponsors. Shout out to Dantes Storms and his uncle, which is the spot back in my hometown, which is kind of like a club. Shout out to Tina and Sean Trimble. They are tattoo artists down there in my hometown. It's called Homicide Inc. Shout out to Ed McCain. He's an Army vet, and right now he's in Germany. Shout out to him. Shout out to Anthony Swain. He's one of the sponsors too. Shout out to Von Juan, who I had an interview with last night. Shout out to him. He's a pastor down here and a gospel rapper. Shout out to my family, especially my family, because what they have to tolerate with when I'm in camp is not easy. But God is number one. No matter what, God is number one. And when you have God in your life and you believe in God, especially if you know my background and you know what I've been through, you'll be like, man, that's a big change, a big change. So when you have to believe in God. I know a lot of people don't believe in God. I know a lot of people are on the fence. We're not perfect, and we just have to know and think positive. And like they say, when you think positive and you say positive, positive things happen. When you think negative and you say negative, the negative outcomes come. And that's why on my shirt I had speak it, claim it, receive it. And if you speak it and then you claim it, you shall receive it. And I say speak it, claim it, receive it, live it. So you have to speak it and you have to claim it and you shall receive it so you can live it. And I wanna give a shout out to really everybody, because I know without my fans, I wouldn't be able to actually do what I'm doing. Or let's say without myself, because it starts with self first. But the next fight is November. I don't know what date yet. We're waiting on it. I'm going back to Alabama again, like always. I'm racking up my wins at home first. Before I go anywhere else, I'm racking up all my wins at home. So I'm going back to Alabama November. I will keep y'all posted. Um, Another thing I want to say, next month is childhood cancer. And my youngest daughter, she passed in 2015 fighting cancer. She was only 1 year old. And I would like for all y'all to actually look into childhood cancer, because it's hard when you lose a child to cancer. It's hard when you lose a child, period. But for a lot of men fighters, if y'all fight next month, try to shout out to childhood cancer. Try to support childhood cancer. Everybody, if y'all could, just try to support childhood cancer. I know adults catch cancer a lot, but you don't hear that much about childhood cancer. So try to support childhood cancer as much as you can. What I do every September, I shave off my head for the kids that has cancer. And that's why my colors are gold, because my daughter, the cancer she had, it was her ribbon was gold. So my colors are always gold, red, and black. And that's why every fight that you have seen me in, I have gold, red, and black in it, because I'm supporting my daughter. So if y'all could, man, just try to help out, man. And with the
Absolutely.
Black Lives Matter, that too is that's difficult too. That's another stage that is crazy, in which we know as black people that it's been going on forever, and it's going to continue until somebody actually stops it. And like I said last night, we can scream Black Lives Matter, but when black on black crime is still happening, it doesn't help, because that gives other race to act, that gives them a chance to step in and be like, okay, y'all killing each other, why can't we kill you too? It's not right, no matter what. It's not right, because on Father's Day this year in Chicago, it was 104 killings, and it was all black people, black on black crime. And a lot of people didn't know nothing about that, because they're not looking at that. They're looking at, oh, a police officer shot this black man. Yes, some police officers are crooked, but not all police officers are crooked. It's not right to shoot or kill anybody, period. And it's not right as an officer to take that authority to think that you have to kill somebody when you have, like I was telling my wife, when they shot the guy just recently, they didn't have to shoot the man. All they had to do is just, they could have tased him, or they could have had some type of altercation with him instead of shooting him. But sometimes they don't think like that. They, when they see a black man, they just think, okay, he's vicious. Let me just pull my gun out and shoot him. No, and that's why I said last night, all lives matter, because all lives do matter, but to a certain extent. Like I told her, to a certain extent, all lives matter, because I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but when it comes to a certain race, they see different. Like the man who did the bombing in Massachusetts a couple years ago, they didn't give him the death sentence. But for example, yeah, they didn't give him the death sentence. But my uncle, or one of my uncles, or I don't know what he is. I know he's one of my family members back in Alabama. Long before I was born, he shot up, he robbed and shot up, I think, a Popeyes or something, and they gave him the death sentence. So it's not right when Caucasian doesn't get the death sentence when he bombed a big event and hurt millions of people and killed millions of people. So that's when you have to look at stuff like that. Like, yes, it's not right. But like I said, all lives matter, and if we can come together, all race can come together, then it'll be a totally different story. And that's my thing about my platform. My platform, I'm here to actually change lives, because I have been there. I have done that. I have experienced a whole bunch of stuff. So that's what I'm using my platform for, is to change lives and to reach people and to teach the youth, hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to act that way. Let's go a different route, and let's try something different. So that's really what I had to say at the end. I had to get that in, because a lot of people need to hear that. If if you don't hear that, then you'll stay blind to the fact of a lot of things. So
I love it. I love it. And again, Ashley Rivera's somebody that you know and love. So especially in the pandemic, during virtual school, I'm so proud of you. So Shout out to Ashley in the second she's good with you. So shout out to your lovely wife. But for those who haven't already, my friend, uh, how can they find you on social media?
Say that again.
How can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook at my name on Facebook is Alan Melson, regular name. On Instagram, you can find me at, let me see. Instagram is Alan. It's Shenzi Eagle 22. On Instagram, you can find me at Shenzi Eagle 22. Snapchat, you can find me at Melson 22. And right now, I'm still working on my website, and my bio is coming soon. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna love it. So stay tuned. Like I said, November, I'm going for another knockout. If not the knockout, I'm going for that victory for sure. Road to the
Damn,
title.
I love it. I love it, my man. But I mean, I love you coming on. I really do appreciate it. But this has been According to Woods with Alan Melson, and we are out. Thank you guys, and like, share, and subscribe. Just say it.
Yes, yes.